Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday. Kyle Ireland, Mitch Harper. We are live from Tucson, Arizona, as the Cougars and Wildcats are going to kick things off tonight. And Mitch, looks like the clouds are getting a little more gloomy, a little dark, and we're starting to see what you said earlier about the weather rolling in for game time tonight.
Potentially, yeah. We're seeing those clouds build up. It was clear blue skies, a little bit, clouds, but
I texted you yesterday. I was like, because you flew in before I did, and I was like, Mitch, how's the weather? How's the weather? You're like, still clear skies? I was like, okay, maybe there's some hope there, but sure enough, the weather, it always is always right? Or close to being right.
Let me ask you this. Would you, and this could be for our fans, too, for our listeners, Texas 57500. What would you rather sit through as a spectator at a game, rain or snow?
I think it depends on the temperature. Because if it's like a late August, September game where it's like...
Well, there's not going to be snow in August.
No. I'm saying, like, if you're in, a decent temperature where it's like 72 and rainy, I'd rather sit through that than getting snowed on and it's 34 out or something like that.
I'd rather sit through snow.
I think about, 20 years ago, I remember sitting in the stands, on the East stands, when BYU played against Eastern Washington.
Oh, yeah,
and
2007.
Got pelted with snow in that game.
And it was only like the third quarter,
I was
too.
so cold, Mitch. I hate snow on me. But if it's cold like that and then you get wet with the rain, that's brutal too. So I think it depends on if you can stay dry in it or not.
I just have maybe vivid memories from when it was 1998, BYU San Diego State for the WAC Pacific Division. We've had a glow up. It's come a long way, BYU football has. But 1998, it was a massive rainstorm in the second half, and I was just drenched. And I swore to myself, I'm like, I never want to sit through a rain game again. It was awful. And snow, I can deal with snow. It's just rain, though, that's tough to sit through. And the Independence Bowl back in 2021, that sleet was coming in sideways. Any Cougar fan that went to the Independence Bowl, you need to go to Cougar heaven. Because as like a fan, like you are the 1% of fans, because the commitment to that game, that was just brutal. And anytime that there's rain involved, it's just a bad viewing experience. We're lucky we'll get to be in the press box, so we can't complain too much. But for the fans that will be in attendance, because Cougar Nation will show up. There were some parents of players that were on the plane that I was flying into. They're excited. Cougar fans always show up for these games, and I think this will be a great crowd also from Arizona. Last week, they had a brutal crowd. Only about 15,000 fans showed up for their game against Oklahoma State. But it is Parents' Weekend for Arizona. A lot more families here in Tucson getting ready for the big weekend. And Arizona head coach Brent Brennan, he had a message to the Arizona faithful. Because remember, earlier this winter, Arizona basketball fans had a bleep the Mormons chant at the McHale Center in basketball, and that garnered a lot of national headlines. And then on the heels of what took place at Colorado, it's a big talking point, and Arizona head coach Brent Brennan had a message for the Wildcat fans to show some kindness to BYU. This was Brennan.
As I look forward to this next coming week and us inviting our friends down here from BYU, a top 25 team, my challenge to our fan base and to everybody that loves the University of Arizona is to show up. Let's sell out Arizona Stadium. Let's make this thing the hostile environment we know it can be, and make it really challenging for our opponents, when they get here. I think that's something I know we experience every time we go on the road. In the Big 12, we experienced it 2 weeks ago at Iowa State. Sold out, rocking, loud, hard to deal with, and I think that's something that we are absolutely capable of here. And I think, and also when we do that, I would also ask our fans, let's be respectful in this thing. I think that's one of those things that we're better than that. And let's be here and let's see a great game. Let's cheer on the Wildcats with everything we got. Let's make it incredibly hard on BYU, but let's be respectful in the process.
They're getting out in front of this, Arizona. So props to Brent Brennan, who has a close relationship with Kalani Sitake. They were once neighbors when they worked together at Oregon State. Their wives know each other really well. I thought that was pretty nice of Brennan.
Yeah, I think their friendship kind of shines through into those comments, and the fact that, even you think about a couple of weeks ago with the Colorado situation and the comments that Deion Sanders had, following those remarks from the fan base and Deion Sanders, the way he handled that, in his press conference in the middle of the week there. I think that these coaches really respect BYU in the conference, and I think they respect Kalani Sitake and have a genuine admiration, and some of these guys even have, good friendships with him, like Brent Brennan. But I do think that with this, Mitch, you think about the Big 12 and the way they came down, putting out a statement, a public reprimand of Colorado, and then also the fine. I don't think it's good PR, right? I mean, you don't want to have having those statements be put out about your program. And so for Brennan to get ahead of it, like you said, I think it's a good, classy move by him. And I think the way he talked about it there, that's the way to handle it.
Well, we'll see what happens because let's call it what it is. It's been like clockwork when BYU goes to these former big Pac-12 venues. It's just what it is. USC in 2021. They had the chant. Oregon in 2022. Stanford had a halftime performance mocking same-sex marriage philosophies for the LDS Church. There's been so many different deals here. There was at Colorado. It's been an ongoing deal. Arizona basketball game. And again, it's that might just be saying it's a coincidence that's all former Pac-12 schools. But whenever BYU goes out west, we've been to a lot of places for BYU around the country. We went to Greenville, North Carolina. That didn't happen. So I'll be curious to see how the fan reaction is from Arizona if they do take the message from their head coach, Brent Brennan. Before we get to a break, Arizona quarterback Noah Fafita, talented signal caller, now new number this season. He's number 1. Last year, he was wearing number 11. And Fafita is a special talent. He's got a good relationship with Kalani Sitake, but he grew up a Utah Utes fan. He's got uncles that played for the Utes, Steve Fafita and Kelly Talavau. So with that upbringing of being a Ute, he doesn't like BYU all that much. This was Fafita from the summer at Big 12 Media Days.
Yeah, we got to get that BYU one back. Got a lot of respect for BYU, especially Coach Kalani, because he's the only Tongan head coach in college football. But there's always been a hatred for BYU growing up a Utah fan. So I always hated the blue school.
I can respect that. Your uncles played at Utah. I get it. I'm stunned that he didn't end up at Utah with his close connections to the Utes, but that was kind of a fun line from the summer from Fafita.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way to handle these kind of games. You can be competitive on the field, dislike a team, but I do think that Fafita is an outstanding player, and he'll have a fun game tonight against the BYU defense. It's a top 10 defense, and I'm excited to see what he does because he was exciting last year, and I think he's playing even better this season. We're going to take a break, and on the other side, we're going to have a conversation with a BYU legend, a great quarterback, and Max Saul. You're listening to Cougar Sports Saturday, powered by KSL Sports.